This is Educated Artistry. Hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of Educated Artistry. Welcome back, or welcome here for the first time, whichever one it is. Today, I'm going to be sharing another episode that was recorded at the Lash conference that I cannot believe was over a month ago now. Like, time is flying by. But before we get into the introduction of today's guest, I want to do a little top of the show information for you guys on just kind of some new things going on. So, the first thing is going to be I am retiring my 3 signature master classes. This is something that I'm going to do a full podcast episode on probably within the next couple weeks because I kind of want to tell you guys why I'm retiring these classes. You guys might be thinking like, why would you retire master classes? Like, that's, work you put in, additional money that you could be making every month. And I'm going to give you guys all of the tea on why I'm deciding to do this and where the evolution of the next part of my business is going to grow, because I do think that that is really important as business owners, is that we continue to evolve, especially when things no longer align. So I want to give you guys a chance to grab these master classes because although they're retiring, they're freaking amazing classes. And there are 3 topics that I'm the most passionate about teaching on. Some of these classes are going to come back, but it's going to be a completely different kind of like environment and the way that the class is ran, which I'm really excited to share with you guys as it unfolds. But let me break down what the master classes are. So first and foremost, the best seller is powerhouse pricing. That is probably what I'm best known for, is teaching people how to charge hourly and how you're probably losing money on certain services if you are not charging hourly. So that course is going to take you completely through where you could be losing money, how to charge hourly, how to communicate it with your clients, how to simplify your pricing menu. And I'm even going to give you scripts too on how to announce a price increase with clients, how to navigate that, and, pretty much everything that comes down to pricing, setting your prices for you and not just based off of the people around you. And I get into why that is like not a good thing to do inside of the course as well. The next one is Scroller to High Roller, which is another fan fave because it's all about TikTok. And so many of us, I believe, are starting to, I've seen a lot more beauty business owners getting on TikTok, but a lot of us use it like Instagram and expect the same results when it is a completely different app. And I've seen great success and building my brand through TikTok. So this course is Scroller to High Roller. So that way you can learn how to build authority and make sales on TikTok. And then the third signature masterclass is the transition. Now, that is also one of my favorites because it's kind of like the beginning steps on how to transition from behind the chair, how to unleash yourself from behind the chair. I know that there's a lot of us where we have our clients and we've built this amazing client base, but maybe that's no longer aligning with what we want to do. Or maybe we do want to start stepping into education or product lines or coaching or online course creation. And it's just something that we don't have the capacity for with the clientele we're taking, but we're scared to take, kind of like take a pay cut and cut back on clients or days that we're working. And this is what I'm going to teach you on those foundation, like building that foundation to be able to transition and unleash yourself from behind the chair. So those masterclasses are all going to be 60% off until Monday, November 27th. So you have almost a week to be able to grab those and, take advantage of those classes, learn and, get all the knowledge there. You will have lifetime access still. So even when these are retired, they are all of inside of a Facebook group. You will have access to that Facebook group, the videos, the workbooks for life. They're always going to be there. And I'm still active in the Facebook group. So if you have questions, you watch the videos, then I'm still going to be in there answering questions as long as you guys have them. So that's a great opportunity to grab a masterclass. And if you're like, Kayla, all 3 of those masterclasses sound pretty freaking amazing, I did put together a bundle package package that will save you even more money. I think it comes to like 65 or 70% off. And you can just go, I'm going to have it linked in the show notes, and you can just click on the bundle, and that will give you all 3 courses for only $222. And I did set up even a payment plan option for that as well. So I wanted to make sure you guys knew about that. I posted it on my Instagram stories, and I was like, I have to tell my podcast audience about this too and give them the opportunity to grab one of these classes before they retire. So today's episode, let's get into that. We are talking to Erin Taylor. She's the owner of Monarch Lash Co. And she has Undefined Studios in Salem, Oregon. It is so funny because Salem is only like an hour south from me, and Erin and I have never met. So it was really cool getting to talk to her in person. I had a really fun time interviewing her. I think you guys are going to see, like, we just have really good, I don't know, like chemistry. And it just felt like I'd known her for a really long time. So it was really good to be able to sit down and talk with her and, learn about her journey and her online course creation, which you guys are going to see has blown up and been amazing. And then her journey into building out Undefined Studios, where she has artists of all different kinds rent from her in this creative space. So I'm really excited for you guys to listen, to get to know Erin, and hopefully you enjoy this episode from the Lash Conference. Please let us know that you're listening today. Tag in your stories, share with your friends. That seriously helps the podcast more than you guys know, and I appreciate it so much every time I see you guys sharing that you're tuning in to the episode every week. It's like the best. It makes my day every time. So please continue to do that so we can continue to spread this podcast to other beauty business owners so they can make educated business decisions about their beauty career. So I will stop chatting and I will let you guys get into the episode and get into all the good stuff. And I will see you next week. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving and we'll chat soon. Bye. Okay, guys, welcome to another episode of Educated Artistry. We are live once again at the Lash Conference. And today I am joined by Erin, the owner of Monarch Lash Co. and Undefined Studios in Salem, Oregon. And I'm super excited because Erin and I are only like an hour away from each other. And this is our first time meeting at the conference. So I am very excited to have you here. We're going to be talking about some of your online course creation and that you built out a creative studio space and have renters and talk about studio management. And I'm just super excited to get to know your journey too, because I feel like I've been following you for a while, but we haven't gotten to connect on this level. So thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Oh yeah, no, thank you for having me. I feel like that's the beauty of these conferences. It's always so funny that like people are so close in proximity to their like regular day jobs and where they live and like where they work and stuff. And then you come to a whole nother state and then you meet everybody, And I'm like, I think that that's so cool.
I think it's really cool too. And I want us to like, I know there's going to be like a Lash Bash this next weekend. I don't know if I'm going to make it, but I'm like, I want to do more things in our area because I don't feel like there's a lot of, kind of like mix and meets and stuff to be able to like meet other artists. Cause I just feel like everyone is just kind of in their own like headspace of what they're doing. And it's so fun to meet other people.
Yes. Yeah. I just hosted a Lash social event in July.
Oh, okay.
And it was so great.
Oh my
gosh. Being able to actually see all of the local artists come together and just mingle and get to talk and get to share tips and tricks. Like it's just invaluable,
It is. And it can be really lonely, I feel like, in our industry, especially if you're working solo or you're home based. So I think that's amazing. And it's so much like the community building is so important. And I feel like when did you start doing lashes? What year was it?
2017.
Okay, cool. So I started in 2015. So I feel like even in 2017, it was very like competition. Like everybody was your competition.
And your glue was your biggest secret.
Oh my God.
Everybody was like, you could not ask anybody what their glue was. That was the biggest retention secret. That was like, no, but it really was. You're totally right. Like at the beginning of when I got into the industry, there was no sort of like camaraderie. It was always like your neighbor is your biggest competition. So there was no sharing of tips and tricks. Social media there was no sort of open-handed education available. There was nothing available for newbies to get into it. So I was like, SOL, just like, all right, I'll figure it out. Like I have no idea what I'm doing. I don't know my head from my ass right now, but like I'm gonna figure it out.
Yeah, I started as a W-2 employee at a salon in Vancouver, and they made us tape our adhesive. So you could not, like, nobody, like, in case a lash artist came in to get their lashes done and were like, it's like they're sending in their secret spies. I'm like, come on.
Yes.
And it was funny because adhesive kind of sucked in 2015 anyway. So,
that was like back in the day of like 10-second dry times and like, yeah.
Yeah.
But that was also like the era of like 0.25 lashes. I was like, Yeah, the loose fans in the little containers. Yeah.
Yes. So what got you started into lashes? Did you start go straight into lashes after you did, I'm assuming you're an esthetician,
Yeah.
went to school. So how was that journey for you?
So originally, like in high school and stuff, I was doing braiding for all of like the homecoming girls' hair and stuff. I love patterns. I love intricate designs that I can do that repetitive motions with my hands. So originally I was like, okay, I want to go into a braiding situation. And then I really wanted to explore the body modification world. And I thought I was originally going to become a piercer. So then I found out like all the licensing required for that. And it didn't call to me, that industry didn't end up calling to me with the energy and the kind of the vibe of it.
Right.
And so I ended up becoming a caregiver. This is like super long story short, I ended up becoming a caregiver with the developmentally disabled. And that community absolutely stole my heart. And I really considered going into back to college.
Okay.
I went to college for 2 weeks originally, and I probably went to I probably showed up to 3 classes that entire 2 weeks. And I was like, I'm out. Like, this is not for me. Absolutely not. So I considered going back to college to study, human design, human development, something along those lines. And then I ended up actually getting gifted a set of lash extensions from my mom for my 20th birthday.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And the poor girl, oh my gosh, I was like,
your lashes?
Yeah. So I was asking her every question in the book. Like, what did it take to become a licensed lash artist? What is all of the details of this service? And Lord, and now I know that my eyes are like, go 100 miles an hour when I talk, when I get my lashes done. And of course, it's my first time getting lashes. So I had no idea.
Just like everywhere?
Yes, this poor girl. And I'm like, she's probably like, can this girl just shut up? I'm just trying to do her lashes. I'm struggling so hard right now.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. So I ended up getting my first set of lash extensions gifted to me. Asked her all the questions. And all of a sudden I was like, this is it. This is what I need to be doing. This absolutely called to me. And so probably within the next couple of weeks, I was enrolled in beauty school, and I started maybe the next month, or let's see, that was August, September. Yeah. So October. So 2 months later, I ended up starting my classes with beauty school.
Oh my gosh.
And I graduated. Yeah. And I ended up graduating, getting my license right after that. So that was really my introduction into the lash world.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you take a lash course right after you finished school, or what was did you kind of self-teach? What was that for? Because I know in 2017, there wasn't a lot of education out there. It was really, really hard to find.
It was a totally different industry than it is now. Absolutely. No. So at my beauty school,
right,
they ended up having a separate lash class that I could enroll in as an option. It was like an add-on, and I paid, a couple $1,000s. I don't know how much it was. That they kind of built into your intuition, built into your tuition.
Right.
Yeah. So I ended up just doing that. So as soon as I finished my esthetician course, it was like a 1-day class that I ended up taking.
Okay.
And I will say, that course, I learned a lot. But like I said, and what you said too, the education back in the day was so different than it is now.
So true.
So our course, this poor educator, being an educator now, I feel for her. She got thrown to the lion's den for sure. We had probably a course of 20 people that was in this, and she was the only educator, the only teacher there.
Oh
and God. She gave us the option if you wanted to do live models or work on mannequins. And so half the class opted to do live models and half the class opted to do mannequins. So she was going in between the people that were working on real freaking humans.
And this was a 1 day?
1 day.
Oh my gosh.
So within the first probably 3 hours of this class, and 1 day back then for a classic course was it wasn't from 9 to 5. It was from 10 to 3, 10 to 4. It was not a full 8 hour.
It was literally
training.
got 2 hours of theory, and then you were like, all right, let's go. Get your models.
Literally.
Crazy.
Yeah. And so personally, I opted to just work on a mannequin head because I was like, hello, I've never touched tweezers, picked up tweezers. I have no idea what I'm doing. Yeah. I do not feel comfortable working on a human face right now.
Right.
But the rest of the class did, or the other half of the class did. And so obviously a lot of her attention was with the students that had real faces, hello, safety. We love that.
For sure.
Yeah. So she ended up spending much more time over there than she did over on the mannequin table. So I was I learned a lot, definitely. And it was an introductory course, and it was the best quality of education that you could get back in the day. And I'm thankful for that course.
For sure.
But I definitely would do things differently now.
Well, and it is just nice now that there is so much even free education out there that you can really learn and then, invest in. And there's so many courses. It's so crazy that you can do mega volume, textures, styling, mapping, just retention. There's so many amazing courses out there. did you just kind of self-practice, self-teach after that? And then did you get into any other courses?
Yeah, so I ended up practicing a lot after that. And I mean, I really believe in that. I don't believe in, just hammering yourself with every course that you possibly can without applying the information and the methods first, because I didn't find that to be valuable for me at that point. I needed to get the hands-on practice. I needed to get, what my motor movements, because just picking up tweezers for the first time and getting your hands to do what you want them to do, that's a whole new movement. And I was like, I am already scared to work on a human face. I didn't in my class. So I'm like, oh my God, my mom, who can be my first model?
It's always your family. You're like,
I'm like, are you willing to sacrifice your eyes for me?
Right. Oh my gosh. No, I think that's a really valuable piece of advice, actually, even for artists today, that like you can take 20 courses. That doesn't mean you're going to be a good artist unless you're actually putting in the hours and the practice. And that's what, when I was doing in-person like technique trainings, I would say, like, I would tell girls, especially their first like classic course, I'd be like, you're set. Like, you're not going to be 100% happy with it. You're probably not going to get them 100% covered. And that's okay. Because if you get 10 lashes per eye, but they're perfectly isolated, they are not lifting, they're placed amazing, and they're, and go in a good direction, I would much rather you have that than have like, a full set of just like wonky lashes that are all stuck together.
Absolutely.
And I always said, I'm like, every day, like, try and take, if you have mannequin head or practicing, people now do the hair trick with the cup. I'm like, practice 15, 30 minutes a day, like getting in that muscle, because it is just such those tiny muscle movements that feel so freaking foreign to you when you pick up tweezers. You're like, how do hands work like this? Like, do my hands work?
You're like, what fingers am I supposed to have on this tweezer? And like, is it 2? Is it 1? Like, am I like chopsticking this?
Right.
Like, how do I do this?
So when did you get into teaching? Because I know you have online courses, and do you did you do in-person courses as well. So what got you into education?
Honestly, I found a need. I really saw a need in my area. That was really how it got started. And I didn't start with a curriculum course. I started with mentoring sessions.
Same.
And because I found a need, and people were messaging me. They were like, how are you doing this? How are you doing this? I need help with this. And because there was so much demand in my DMs for stuff, I was like, girl, you're literally down the street from me. Like, just come over and let's just do a mentoring session for 5 hours. And like, I'll answer every question that you have. And it'll be completely tailored to you, because I found back then, so that would have been in, 2019, I started educating. At the beginning, January 2019, I started educating, and in mentoring sessions.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. That's still educating.
Yes. So I announced those, and so I ended up starting doing that in January 2019. And I saw a need. And from doing those mentoring sessions, I saw so much of the same repetitive questions that were happening. It was retention, it was mapping, it was client stuff, like how do I build my clientele? It was booking sites, it was all of the same questions. So at that point, I was like, okay, I'm repeating a not curriculum, a not structured, scripted curriculum, but I'm teaching the exact same thing every time that someone's coming to a mentoring session with me. So I found it to be more valuable, because I was like, okay, there's so many people that are struggling with the exact same thing. I'm seeing a pattern here, and they're coming to me for this advice. So clearly I have the answers for, as much as you can, much as I can, for what these people are wanting to learn from me. And so I found the opportunity at that point to then start adding that into in-person trainings, or start teaching just those things. So I really, pieced out these pieces of my curriculum that I was teaching with my mentoring sessions, and like I put them online. My online retention course is like 5 hours long just like all video demonstration and tutorials and theory and every single thing, Q&A from my audience and scripted troubleshooting checklists. Like, I threw the fucking kitchen sink into that course. But my mentoring sessions as a whole from start to finish were 5 hours. So I was like, I can't even give you all the information that I really want to give you, and that you really need to master this one topic in 5 hours, because that would take the entire mentoring session. So I was like, I need to put this online that everybody has access to at any point globally, because everyone's struggling with the same thing.
Yes.
And they can rewatch it as many times as they want. It's so much more valuable to them. So that was really how I got introduced into the online education as well, was because I found a need and the same patterns and everybody online asking the same questions. And so I was like, okay, I'm just going to build something that everybody can have and that I can teach really fucking well, as best as I can. And then everybody can have access to it for forever.
I love that. And I think it's really smart that you did like the mentorships. I had started out with training like that as well. I ended up training for Lash Essential for like 4 years because I really loved like their training. And it was at the point where I was able to like help them with like building out the manuals and the videos and stuff like that.
Yes.
But I had started with when I just started getting like DMs and stuff of just like, I need help. And I did the same thing where I had like 3 options where they could book a 3-hour, 4-hour, or 5-hour option for just coming in, and we'll go over all the questions. And I think it's really important, especially a lot of people want to get into online education, right? Because they think like passive income and I can just make money while I sleep. But that's the work that you put behind it to be able to gather that data to one, get reviews and stuff and like have solid proof of that what you're teaching is valuable and works for people, to be able to know like this is a course that I can create instead of just like creating a course and being like, and because I see girls all the time be like, well, I created this course and like it's not selling. And then, it's like, do you know if that's really what your audience needs?
Yes.
And I think we forget, especially with the pandemic and everything, I think we forgot how to like build our local community and how important that is when you want to be an educator. I personally think, especially when you're starting, just to gather that data. What are people's like pain points and how can you help them with it? And so I think that's really cool that you did it that way. And I always tell people when they want to get into education, I'm like, start with mentorships to see, are you even a good educator?
Yes.
Do you even know how to teach and teach people in different ways, especially you want to do technique?
Yes. I feel like that's so not something that people think about when they're stepping into the education world, is different learning styles.
Yeah.
And as an educator, I really believe in adaptability and flexibility to be an educator, because if you're an educator and you can only teach one thing one way, then say, for example, you're really, really good at hands-on. You're really good at showing people the hands-on part, but you're not good at showing someone the theory. Someone that might be a visual learner might do really well in your course. And some people that might be an audible learner is not going to have as much value taken from your course. So you really have to understand the different learning styles and how to be adaptable to your students. So when I started doing my mentorships, one thing that I ended up doing to customize their course was, as soon as they enrolled in my mentorship for the class, I immediately sent them an email that was like their welcome packet. It had all of the information on like, where to park, the address,
That's
all the things that they're going to be doing. But I also sent them a questionnaire and I sent them everything. Like I sent them a whole just book of questions that they had to answer, because this was how I was going to best customize and niche their course, tailor their course to them and what they were needing. It also got their brain moving. They were like, this is what I'm needing. This is like, it's warming them up for this course. And they're like, they were going to get the most out of their course when they knew what they were coming for.
Yes.
A lot of people enroll in courses because they're just like, oh, I could learn this technique. That sounds cool, but they don't know exactly what they're needing.
Yes.
So I was asking very direct questions that was really getting their brain activated and moving. And I also asked them their learning styles. How did they best learn? What could they best take out of this course, right? And so I was really getting to know them on an intimate learning level as a student, stepping into my mentorship so that I could really give them as much impactful value that they were going to be able to actually have results for leaving. And they could apply it leaving their mentorship immediately.
I love that. I think that is so important. And you must just like be a teacher at heart, because I feel like a lot of people don't have, like, they don't think about those things, how there are these different learning styles and stuff, and to be able to create it customly for your student that you have. So I think that's really awesome. And I know you said you have like 44 countries or something that people have bought in your courses. Like,
yes, I just saw that like last week. I don't know what it is now, but yeah, like last week I ended up seeing that all my online courses have reached 44 countries.
So cool. Congratulations.
Yes, thank you so much. I'm like, I could cry. Like, I'm like, what? Like a little... What? Like, I'm actually tearing up. Like,
oh my God.
That is seriously so amazing to me.
Yeah, it's really, I feel that. Like, it's so empowering, and it's hard, especially when you're solo and you're doing all this stuff and you're like, am I making an impact? Am I like, and then you see that and you're like, holy shit, 44 countries? That's amazing.
44 countries. I know. Really cool. I saw that and I actually I had a moment. I was like, this is crazy.
Do you still take clients?
I do. I'm still a full-time lash artist.
Full-time?
Full-time.
What's full-time for you?
I'm probably taking 15 to 20 clients a week.
Damn.
4 clients is my max a day.
That's mine too.
Yeah, I'm still working like 5-6 days a week.
Girl,
I know.
What? I'm like my 2 days with my 4 clients a day.
I know. I will say that I definitely have cut back since having the studio.
Yeah.
Because like, I think a lot of people too, when they step into a studio, even if they're having renters, because like my creative studio with Undefined Studios, I just have renters.
Right.
So I didn't choose to go the salon route. I didn't choose to go the employee route. And even though I'm still having renters, I think a lot of people don't consider the fact that you're an owner, you're a landlord, but you're also a studio manager.
Right.
You're the studio manager. So like I have to be very present. I still have to make sure that the studio is running well. I have to make sure we're still stocked on everything. I still have to be, a body in this place to make sure that all my renters are being taken care of, and managing. I don't know. There's always odds and ends and random things that end up coming up that you don't consider. Like, I don't know. Like literally, I got an email this morning from my property manager that they wanted to do an HVAC maintenance thing today. Right. And I like, just the smallest little things like that. That like there just has to be a governing body in the studio space to be able to just be present and be there to handle things.
So what was that like? Like, what made you decide to open up that creative studio space? And did you do a build out, or did you find a space that already had kind of the structure you needed, or what was that like?
Girl, I built that shit from the ground up.
Awesome.
So when I signed my lease, I don't own the building. Right. I own the studio. So when I signed my lease for the space, it was literally a slab concrete foundation on the ground. There was like 3 2x4 studs standing on this. Like it was nothing. It was absolutely not a building. There was nothing there yet. And so I signed my lease and I was like, in God we trust. Like, I don't know
what year was that you did that?
That was August of 2021.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. So I signed that lease on August 11th at 1/11 of 2021. Hello.
Angel numbers.
Hello. Like, I know. I was like, this is destiny. This is meant to be for sure. Yeah. So August 11th of 2021, I ended up signing a lease to build this. So again, like it was nothing.
Did they give you any like, sometimes they give you like an allowance or whatever to be able to build some stuff out, or like,
No. So I ended up doing all of that myself. So I ended up deciding like what my TI cost was going to be. I think I also had a little bit of an advantage too, because there wasn't an established building yet. So it wasn't necessarily considered a TI at that point because I wasn't building anything out. It was the fact that I was changing the original architecture and the contractor's drafts. And so I was adding walls, I was moving walls, I was changing HVAC, I was like changing all these different things and design stuff. But it was different because they hadn't built a building yet. So I wasn't.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it was a little bit unique in that regard, but it definitely was not easy.
And how long did it take from signing in August until you were able to start getting renters in there?
So with permitting, girl, when I tell you permitting, especially back in 2021. So that was also right after, obviously with COVID. I don't know if I'm allowed to say the C word on a podcast, but
I don't care.
But that was right after shutdown. So I don't know if you remember that time, but getting shipments of product absolutely was like unavailable.
Wood was like it was insanely expensive and hard to get too.
We couldn't get it.
Yeah.
It was so hard to get, even just like regular supplies. For example, our light fixtures, like just the smallest things that were coming from overseas.
Yeah.
It was just taking an arm and leg to get it, not to mention city permitting and all the inspections that have to come in. Like every round of construction, there has to be, a city inspector to come in and make sure that like that permit was met, and then you can move on to the next build.
Yeah.
And so it was just constant. It was so much delay. And so I thank God for my original lease. I was able to kind of be flexible with my end date with where I was at. And I let him know, up front. I was like, I'm leaving. I have no idea when.
Right.
Like, I just want to let you know. And then like, I'll give you as much notice as I possibly can. But like, we're building this, and luckily I was in a realtor's office, and so he did construction himself, and so he was like, girl,
I get it.
Good luck. Yeah. So he was very graceful, and I'm thankful for that. So it was so many delays, but we ended up finally getting our keys December 11th.
Shut up.
Hello, is that not so crazy?
I love it.
I know.
Oh
so
gosh.
December 11th, 2021, I officially got my keys. There were still some minor like cosmetic things with construction, but I was at this point, dude, give me the keys.
Yeah.
Like, it's fine. It's workable. There was like, I don't know, paint things that needed to be touched.
Yeah,
just small things that didn't matter. That was like, this isn't going to impede me from moving in and being able to do my job and like meet my codes and meet my licensing with the small paint things,
Yeah.
So I ended up moving in December 11th. Moved in. I was very thankful to have renters that just took my word for it back in like August, September when there was no building. I had nothing to show them.
So were they like ready to go pretty much once?
They were.
That's
yeah,
awesome.
they were ready. And I was so thankful to be fully rented before I even before I even had anything to show them. They just took my word for it. And I'm like, first of all, like that means everything to me. I was like, here's a square footage. I haven't even seen it. So like I can only tell you my design. I can only tell you my vision. I can only tell you, what I want it to be. And they supported that and they really trusted me with that. So I was very thankful to be fully rented. By the time that I got my keys, the renters were able to move in about 2 days later.
Oh my gosh, that's so cool. How many spaces do you have?
So at that point, I had 5 renters coming in.
Okay.
5 renters. I have 3. Well, there's 4 rooms. One of them's mine.
Okay.
So then 3 private room renters. And then I had the next month in January, I had a plant shop and a crystal shop move in the lobby. So we kind of had a little metaphysical moment going on.
Oh my gosh.
And yeah, so we were selling product in the lobby doing that too. So I didn't just have private studio suite rentals at that point. I also had products being displayed and sold in the lobby.
Oh, that is really cool. That is super exciting too, that you're able to like have those renters ready to go. That's amazing. So you don't just have lash artists in there, right? In your studios, what other type of spaces are in there?
Yeah, for Undefined Studios. That's why I called it Undefined. That's why I named it that, because I didn't want a defined space. I wanted it to be open to all artists. So I didn't have the vision of owning a salon or, a lash lounge, nothing like that. I wanted a creative studio space because I really feel called to like the body modification world. I feel called to just all artistries, photography, graphic design, you name it. I just wanted private, personal services in an artist's threshold, anybody that was an artist to be able to have a roof that they could come in and have a community that would support them. They can come in and run their business the way that they wanted to. So I own a creative studio space is what I call it. And right now I have 2 estheticians in there doing different things. One does facials and brows and waxing and that kind of stuff. And then the other one's a lash artist. I'm a lash artist and an educator. And then I also have a body sculpting, post-op massage, lymphatic drainage. Yeah.
I think that's cool too, because then like your clients will see what everyone else is doing and you can kind of like go back and forth.
Yes.
We align a lot on that with like, I never felt called to like have employees or anything. Like I was just like, I don't want to do that kind of like salon ownership, but I just have renters and we're all lash artists, but I really do love being able to be like, we were talking like the studio management and stuff, and you have to make sure certain things are stocked and like, all of that. But I really love having a space that, people can come in and run their own business, but just have a space that feels welcoming and stuff too, and kind of get that vibe of like, we are all solo, but you kind of have that team environment. And like, we totally do at the salon where it's like, if one of their clients walks in, I'm going to greet them and ask them like, hey, do you want a water or anything? And like, that's like really cool to have, because I feel like sometimes it can feel so lonely when you're by yourself. You're like, I just want people, but you don't want to have the whole salon, have employees, because and that's a whole nother thing with like how your relationship is with your employees and stuff too. So
absolutely. And I think that at the end of the day, I don't want to manage people.
Same.
I don't want to manage anybody else's business. I want to support somebody else growing their business.
Yes.
And at the end of the day, like a lot of employees, like in your situation, you started as a W-2 employee working for a salon. Eventually, 9 times out of 10, not always, there will always be people that choose to stay an employee, but a lot of people want to graduate into their own business. And I want to support people that are already on that path. And I want to be able to help them and offer space for them as they are, and be able to support them how I can without having, a W-2 over their head. I don't want to micromanage someone else's business.
Yeah, me neither. That's why there was like a little, I think it was like 2022 where I was like, I think I'm going to hire an employee. And then I was like, I literally hired a business coach and like was going through the whole like stuff. And I was like, never mind.
Yes.
But sometimes you have to do that. And like, you have to learn, and then you decide like, that doesn't align with me. I want to wrap up this interview with asking you, what is something that you want to manifest for LashCon 2024? Like, let's put it out there. And if you have anything in mind, that would be cool to look back on next year and stuff. Because something for me when I was at LashCon last year was, I wrote in my notes where I was like, I will have a booth at LashCon 2023. And here we are. So I've been asking people like, what's something that you want to manifest for your career, your life for next year?
Wow. Okay. Whoa.
I know I put you on the spot. Sorry.
No. It's totally okay. I feel like this year has been so amazing. And this is my first LashCon ever.
I love that.
This is my first LashCon ever. So I'm like, I have nothing to compare it to in the past, like see the progression of like how it'll go. My goal by the end of 2024, I'll tell you, with my business is to have just a one-stop shop of my online course suite and have like a bunch of new courses coming out, which I am in the works with. We're doing a bunch of things right now. So next year for LashCon 2024, Wow.
Yeah.
That's just crazy to say.
That is weird to say.
We're going to look back on this in like 3 years and be like, 2024, what?
Yeah. It'll be like 2030. Like, what? You were in the 2020s?
Yeah, no. That's just so difficult. I feel like I don't come into these with expectations. I feel like I come into them with such an open mind. So maybe just being more involved. Maybe like I didn't even realize that there was like awards going on, or like maybe like, you know, things like that next year. So maybe speaking. Maybe
let's
doing a
manifest
panel.
that for you to fucking speak.
Literally something along those lines. Yeah, just being more involved and just
I love that. That was my thing with the booth, was like, I've been an attendee for so many years. So I was like, I want to be involved in a different way, and being able to like put my brand out there and stuff too, and get the podcast out there and stuff. So yeah, I love that.
And here you are, girl.
Here we are. So we'll see how next year is.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
So what's yours? Now you asked me mine. So you got your manifestation from last year. So what's your manifestation for next year?
Okay, so I definitely think next year I want to be speaking on some topic, whether it is pricing, because I love talking about pricing, and I feel like a lot of people don't understand how to price their services, or I really love talking about TikTok too, and building your business on TikTok. So I would love to speak on one of those topics. I would also be so down to speak on just podcasting in general, and how that can like build your business. And if like somebody would want to start a podcast, then yeah, but I think definitely like speaking on stage, which is like one of my like fears. Like I feel like public speaking is so fucking scary, which is funny because I like talk in a microphone all day, but I don't have like people.
It's different. It's totally different.
It's totally different. Yeah. So yeah, I feel like definitely like doing some sort of speaking engagement, because I think it'll push me out of my comfort zone and just be something completely new that I want to experience. So that's mine.
I'll be there, girl. If you do one of those, if you're on a panel, if you do a speech, I'll absolutely be there.
Oh hell yeah, I love it.
Yes.
I know you have a discount code. Do you want to tell people what that is?
Yes.
And then let them know where they can find you?
Yes. So anybody that's listening to this podcast right now, I did do a forevermore. What is this? It doesn't end. Indefinite.
Oh, indefinite discount.
Discount code for anybody that's listening to this podcast.
Yes.
So it doesn't matter at what point you listen to this podcast, you can capitalize on this discount code. You can use KK Artistry, which is your Instagram handle. So if you need to know how to type that, you can literally just look at your Instagram handle.
And I'll put them in the show notes too, so they'll be directly linked.
Yes. Yeah. And you can get a discount for that too.
Awesome. And then where can they find you on Instagram?
My Instagram is Monarch Lash Co. My website's monarchlashco.com, TikTok, Monarch Lash Co, all the things. So just look at Monarch Lash Co on all the platforms. You can
all the platforms. There you are. Well, Erin, it has been so fun getting to chat with you and like learn about your journey a lot more too. And I hope we hang out soon. Especially since
we're so close.
We're so close. Maybe we need to do like put it together an event or something together like in the area. Like that would be so freaking fun.
Say less. It's already in the works.
All right, we're doing it. See you guys there. All right, bye.
Bye. Thank you.